Alrighty then. In the top side, we have Chopmaul playing as the Necrons, queuing up 4 Builder Scarabs, so no early Scarab harassment out of him. And in the bottom side, we have Nighthawk playing as Imperial Guard, going first Scout, interestingly enough. Double Engineer, double Scout build from him. So we'll have to see what he does with that double Engineer.
You don't see first Scout too often, I have to say.
No. You can get quite a nice timing with it if you have Dark Eldar. Because the builder builds so quickly and can do multiple structures, by the time the wreck point is finished, the builder is just about finished with the 3 buildings, and he can instantly build the wreck point. So that's one of the few times you'll do it, unless you're rushing a forward point.
Right, exactly. We got an early summoning core here, so he's probably going fast tech over here with Necrons.
Perhaps looking to push up that Wraith cap to where it needs to be. Once you've reached Tech 1, you can get those 5 Wraiths out. Looking to put on some aggression. I've noticed he's gone mostly amplification generators. So a fairly late Obelisk might be coming out for Chopmaul.
Yes, yes.
Guard player taking expansions. Going for 2 tier 1 generators, tier 0 generators even. And he's got them adjacent with the headquarters and the barracks, so both will recharge faster. And really fast Tech 1 from both, even the Imperial Guard's teching up this early on.
Yes, so okay, this should be a fairly interesting fight. It's probably going to end up going into the late game, based on what I'm seeing.
Very little aggression out of either player. And the Necron's tier 1 essentially being their tier 2, because it requires that summoning core. Already coming up, so fast teching, getting up a bunch of generators, and essentially no aggression for this first half.
No, it's definitely going to be a very passive type game.
Let's take a look at Eco's. Imperial Guard, 50 for 20, and Necrons with 30 power.
He's getting his 3rd generator out. The guard is, that is. About to finish his tier 1. So guard will definitely be ahead in tier 1. Just got it. Wonder what he's going to make use of it. Perhaps a fast tank?
Be interesting. I think he'll probably go for a fast assault tank with a flamer upgrade, and that could do a lot of damage to those generators if he walks it straight over there.
I agree, especially since just it's very vulnerable to attack. I have to say, both players' bases are very vulnerable to attack right now. Any sort of heavy hitter like a assault tank will definitely do significant damage at this point.
And sneaky guardsman looking to decap the critical point.
Yes.
And a lot of people and more experienced players probably thinking to themselves, need wraiths, man. Gotta have some wraiths. Gotta have a few scarabs running around. There's a lot of unguarded builders running around the place for Imperial Guard.
There's just not a lot of aggression period right now from any of these players. But although the guard are getting their mechanized command up, so we might just see that assault tank coming up, while the Necron's going for more eco, they're getting their 2nd Necron monolith. So
that conscript squad manages to get the decap, but is almost finished off by these attack scarabs. And quite mirror place here on the bottom, Necron decapping the guard's critical point.
Right? Quite interesting.
First Chimera assault tank at 50%, and Necron going double headquarters. Strange to see a double headquarters that early. Normally people would want to max out their plasma generators first. So I'm not sure I quite understand the tactics here on Chopmaul.
Well, we do. It's rare, but the thing is, at this point, it's rare to see it. But sometimes you do see a person go for a 2nd Necron monolith straight off in the beginning, just to get that extra production flowing. But
Hmm.
at this time, I'm not sure. Maybe he's just thinking, well, the Necron monolith does give me extra 20 power, so it's something there.
Hmm.
But
Finishes a Gauss turret, but that Chimera making short work of it without the fortress defenses. And even with the fortress defenses, Chimera is well above the lowest tier Necron turret.
yes,
Always
had
better
that
to
been a
build a
heavy
heavy
Gauss
Gauss.
turret, it
Exactly.
could have done something.
Guard has his Slag Depot. Necron, not quite yet. So I think we're seeing a lead here out of the Guard player.
Yes, that assault tank is gonna definitely put the pressure on the Necron player if he can't do something about it here.
He's deploying flayed ones, but the problem here is that the tank can just move away as long as it's not surrounded and it has the ram ability on.
And
So these
yeah,
flayed ones not going to get anywhere near that.
no, that's definitely gonna cause a lot of trouble there.
And now the
Blade ones
Necron.
definitely, I feel, were not the right choice here.
Hmm. He's going to want to move his Chimera sooner rather than later. But it seems to be having no problem.
No, absolutely none. The second assault tank is coming out from the guard. Interesting. Double assault tanks. Maybe he feels like he can get a heavy push going with these assault tanks. Which he may very well be right there because, again, the Necron is very vulnerable right now.
Hmm. The Necron finally with some aggression of his own, looking to pick up an engineer kill with these wraiths. Guard unfortunately running over his own engineer with the ram, but may get surrounded here.
Tends to happen, but the Flamers will save that engineer.
And sneaky wraith here, stealth, going for the generator at the back.
Now, I like seeing these plays.
And Imperial Guard, most of his way up to tier 2 already. So strange builds out of both players. And I think Necron has another flayed one garrisoned, and he's just launched it now.
Ooh, he dropped it in the guard's base, so maybe he's going to pick up a couple generators here. Which, at this point, this is what he needs to do. He needs to make sure the guard don't come for him, because he will suffer significantly. But if he can keep him distracted like this and continue buying time, well, he may very well make it to the point where he wants to be at tier 3.
I can't help but feel that the guard would want to garrison a few units in his headquarters and send these tanks onto an attack.
Yeah, a ram, I feel, would have saved that generator there. But it seems he does have a single conscript squad, because I do see fire coming out of the field command. He's got a turret up too, so I believe he will be able to push these flayed ones out of here.
Unfortunately for Nighthawk, the one generator getting his global upgrade may die before the global upgrade is complete, but it'll be close as to which one finishes first, the health or the upgrade itself.
Well, he's taken out the units there, so it's good. He's done a good job there in saving that generator. Greater Summoning Core coming out from the Necron player. It's getting close to that critical point for the Necrons in which their power rises significantly in the game.
And I think we're seeing a mistake here out of Nighthawk, getting the increased range on his turrets, only having one turret, but still forgetting about that rule.
The Emperor protects.
And regular Gauss turrets going up on the top side. I don't think that these will get much work done. Always better to build those heavy Gauss turrets.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he figures they're cheaper and they will buy him some time, if nothing else. But
Imperial Guard does have a nice amount of floating economy, and he could go up a tier again. I think
Maybe
at that
that
point,
is what he's planning.
he was definitely wrong to repurchase his generators. If he hadn't done, he would have the perfect eco balance to have teched up again.
Right.
Because he already has a floated amount of power which he doesn't need at the moment.
Some Necron warriors out from the Necron player. Now, I'm not sure if they have the upgrade or not, but if they are upgraded, they may be able to do something.
I think they do have one of the upgrades. They have the glowing aura around them. And these immortals could do a lot of damage to these tanks. I would take one tank and ram up close, deploy the mines, and let the other one shoot.
Yes, but oof.
Those
Look
immortals.
at how fast that is tearing up those tanks.
And there you go, the ram comes in.
Yep.
Another Necron squad coming in for backup, and he pulls back the damaged tank. He needs to focus these immortals as quickly as possible and use the ram from the other tank.
I agree, these tanks, they need to be focused down. They are the threat here. And it seems like he does do so. Getting the second assault tank here. Nice.
The Emperor protects.
Medusa at the rear, just taking shots. That's nice from Nighthawk. And he is getting his Tech 3.
Oh yes, that Medusa is going to cause significant problems for the Necron player unless he can take care of it. With the continuous scan drops in his base, if even one of those generators goes down, it's going to be quite a boom that goes on in his base.
Putting his plasma generators very close together. That's one of the problems with plasma generators, is you have to spread them out or they will chain react. But preparing more and more flayed ones, he's filling up his flayed one count, seeing the success from his previous attack. Perhaps looking to do some kind of all-in flayed one drop.
Could be good if it was earlier in the game, but at this point I'm not sure if that's really viable.
What he needs to do at this point is find a way to take out these immortals.
Yes, the Immortals will cause significant trouble to the standard Leman Russ battle tanks, for sure. Especially if they're upgraded. I mean, you can see here, even just normal Necron warriors do damage to Leman Russ battle tanks. And then the Immortals come in to finish it off.
He's even got follow-up Builder Scarabs to potentially decap the point. So nice play here.
So that is a nice move. Yes.
But gradually, these generators getting lower and lower. And the worst thing Nighthawk could do now is stop targeting these generators as they're nearly down. One into the red.
Yes, indeed.
Necron player using the repair function to try and keep the health up. And a secondary scan coming down. Nighthawk's looking for blood on these generators.
Yes, he wants to get them down, and if he does, he will slow down the Necron player by quite a lot. These gens do not come cheap for the Necrons. That is for sure.
And while he is doing this generator harassment, he has switched targets now. He is got a serious force attempting to push into his base, and he needs something to combat this. He has some Kazakin veterans, and the mines will help him out a lot as well. I think the guard will hold here. I think he can hold this one out, but I would retreat the Medusa a little further back. Even the Flamer on the Medusa getting some use here.
Yes, targeting down some of those flayed ones. Very nice.
And I think the mines here doing absolute work for him, constantly knocking over the infantry.
Yes, indeed. Problem here is I'm seeing some misuse by the flayed ones. If he had dropped them on those Kazakin squads, he could have easily tied them up in melee combat.
These Kazakins good against infantry and heavy infantry, exactly what you need to take on a Necron force, and with that many plasma guns, that's exactly the type of unit you want to lock up in combat.
Yes, Cascarans are quite an excellent unit. Able to multitask many things. And then back to the generator harass straight away. Very nice.
Bit of repairs has gone underway, but the Imperial Guard player now building up his number of industry commands so he can get his demolishers out. And this is where he's going to be strongest. If the Necron can somehow survive this, then he's got a chance of winning. Going for his annihilation barges and his ancient summoning core.
Yeah, so they're both at a point where it could really go either way, but I feel like if the guard take out those generators, it's definitely leaning heavily to the guard's favor.
Marauder Bomber, King of the Skies.
Marauder Vigilant now, out for Nighthawk. Need to get some map vision. And I think if these demolishers are used well, then this could win in the game.
Demolishers are definitely no joke. They are by far one of the deadliest tanks that the guard can build.
Now we can see Nighthawk's wisdom in floating the power earlier, and has now been able to dunk it on all of these industry commands and all these demolishers.
Ooh, and we've just lost some power generators here for the Necron as the Marauder Vigilant came in.
Annihilation barge to take out that Medusa, and he is going to be successful. But he's jumped up there, and the slow from these demolishers is going to keep him in there.
Yes, he's not going to be able to escape. He has three industry commands, so he will be able to pull out a significant amount of demolishers. This is a very significant threat. 6 demolishers are definitely no joke.
And this Marauder Bomber with no immortals sitting out of sight of the Medusa to help combat this. These generators may well go down. And perhaps the saving grace for the Necrons is this Siege Monolith under training. His first relic unit on the field.
He's built a heavy Gauss turret to combat the Marauder Vigilant that is sight on his face. Okay.
This game has now turned into the March of the Demolishers.
Yes, it has. Oh, but Siege Monolith drops right on top of the Demolisher here. Trying to see if it can't take them out. Seems like he's also spawned some Necron warriors from the Siege Monolith. That Siege Monolith, though, is taking damage from those Demolishers.
And I think with the Demolisher numbers building, this is going to be very difficult for the Necron to survive.
Yeah, I do not believe that Monolith will be his saving grace here.
Looks like a couple of Builder Scarabs went to space there.
Interesting play. I didn't even notice that the Necron player were building more generators on the left side, thanks to his thermal.
Oh yes.
And not as bad of a spot that there as I once originally thought, but still.
The remaining few Necrons managing to finish off one of those demolishers.
Very nice. Oh, and he is getting immortals with Tesla carbines now. That is extremely deadly against vehicles, but I just don't think he has enough.
No. I think that it's a chance to take out one, but the weight of fire from the demolishers will most likely finish off these immortals.
And a Mars pattern command also coming out from the guard player. Perhaps wanting to build a Stormblade. Be interesting. But I do not think the Necron player will be able to recover from this.
No, those demolishers simply too good at doing what they do best. We can now
They
attack
certainly-
from below the brow of the hill. All he needs
Weirdly
now is
enough.
his map vision.
And there we are. Bombardment. Demolishers are such fantastic tanks. They can take on infantry, vehicles, and structures. They're quite the multi-use tank.
Hmm. I like that touch, the standard bearer coming in, holding the Imperial flag.
Claiming this land for the Imperium, I see.
That's going to be GG.
Yes, it is. Demolishers making short work of all these buildings here.
It was an interesting strategy of the guard, making sure that he was thin on the ground early and floating all that power, allowing him to get all these demolishers out. So one might normally think that floating that much power is bad, but clearly he had a plan in mind, and he ended the game at the point that he knew he was strongest and saved up for that point. Well played from Nighthawk.
Yes, quite good planning from the guard player, I would say. In that. I was not expecting that, to be honest, but it's exactly what happened.
A sneaky bit of defiance here from the Necron, trying to cling to life, but not going to happen.
Oh, and now the Stormblade comes out, and it's probably going to be the final touch.
Hmm. That is
It
GG.
ends.
Take a look at ecos here. Military. We have a lot of kills from the Imperial Guard. A lot of this probably makes up for attack scarabs that have charged in, and also a lot of those flayed ones that were deployed. That's not
Right.
that's not a kill death ratio you ever expect to see from an Imperial Guard player, unless they're playing against
Absolutely.
Tyranids. So
Yes.
I think Chopmaul has some practice on his hands, and Nighthawk with good eco balance. I think he could perhaps do with even more power added to this, and maybe a secondary headquarters.
Yeah.
But he did well. He did well to end the game in the phase where he knew he'd be strongest, and you can't fault that.
No, absolutely not.